friends. How are you today? So many times I'm asked, what am I reading lately? And I've been on this run almost for an entire year now, where I am reading historical dramas of women, and it's the women behind the men. And I actually started with Winston Churchill's daughter-in-law. Then I moved on to his wife, Clementine. And then I've just been on this extravaganza. I read about the first daughter, which was Thomas Jefferson's daughter, and many others. But the last three that I've read, I'm going to feature today. I'm going to talk a little bit about because they have been amazing. One of which I'm going to do it by an order of, I love them all, but the ones that I like least to most. This Ribbons of Scarlet. By the way, these are four or five authors that got together to compile their research, compile their knowledge, to assemble a lot of these women's stories. This one is specifically about the French Revolution, and I know it's heavy, but what I love about it is how layered it is because, quite often, a lot of these women, there weren't many things that were written about them. So they're having to be, it's like this incredible scavenger hunt. They're having to assemble and piece all of this stuff together, specifically because no one wrote about them. So they're looking at old letters, they're looking at lots of historical documents and everything else to be able to create what they create. This one I just finished. It's called The Other Einstein. And yes, it is about Einstein's wife, but it was about his first wife, who also was a scientist. And if you can believe it or not, she was even more brilliant than he was. Amazing story, quick read, and I just loved it. My favorite lately, though, is by this author named Stephanie Dray, and she's actually about to release a book on John Adams' wife, Abigail Adams, and so I'm going to be reading that in May. But this book specifically, it's called Becoming Madam Secretary. It is about this woman named Frances Perkins, and she has this incredible story that she grew up in the Midwest, ended up in New York, doing a lot of great social work, and then found her way into politics, but was really like the woman behind the man and the men, and then actually made her way into the governor's office of New York, helping the governor at that time. But then FDR, who she didn't have really great things to say about in the beginning, by the way, FDR actually tapped her. He saw the talent in her and brought her, and she was actually the very first Secretary of State, female Secretary of State for the United States, all because of FDR. But here's the other piece of it. But for her and her ideas, we would not have the Social Security system that we have today. Amazing story. If even a quarter or a half of any of these stories are correct, it's just amazing. And we need to know more about these women. It is Women's History Month. I think it should always be women's history all the time. We should be celebrating women all the time, but that's just me. I love these tales. I think there's lots. I like to look back to look forward. I think there's a lot to learn from all of these great stories that are there. If we aren't learning from our past, we're repeating them. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I hope you are doing well. I hope that you're having an amazing spring. If you want to talk about this or really anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. I will see you soon.